endless chambers and strange adversing sounds echo through the halls. Whenever candlelights flicker, when the air is deathly still, that is the time those are present, practicing their coolest delight. When cryptos creak and tombstones quake, spoons come out for a swinging wake. Happy hearts materialize and begin to vocalize. Grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize. Close your eyes and don't try to hide. Drown it in a dark disguise. Grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize. When cryptos creak and tombstones quake, spoons come out for a swinging wake. Happy hearts materialize and begin to vocalize. Grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize.
It's freaking bats.
What's up, everybody?
What is up, friends, foes, family, and Michael Berkowitz?
And welcome to Daryl's Garage.
I knew you were going to wear that shirt. I
was just so lucky. I found it right on top of the stack of the 140 some t-shirts I have.
I know I have it around here somewhere, but I'm trying to share this to as many groups as I can. I don't know how many are going to ban me for sharing it. You know, after I said "and Michael Berkowitz," I realized that's exactly what it sounded like. Was I removed you from that? I apologize. I consider you both my collecting father. Spooky Hollows, what is up, buddy? So tonight is a special night because we get to talk about one of my absolute favorite movies and adaptations of one of my favorite authors. I was dramatic pause. I wanted to give you a moment to chime in.
Yeah, and because it's your favorite author's birthday, your birthday, so and they just so happen to pick a big movie, like what I consider a movie that everybody knows,
And it was re-released in theaters this month for a special anniversary showing. It is based on the 16th book published by Stephen King. And what's amazing is they actually started filming on it right before the book was released. So it was able to be timed to come out not long after the book dropped.
That's in my notes.
So, is it? I'm sorry. So, of
course.
No,
I mean, listen, I wrote notes down. So stuff it's like, oh man, you didn't say it. I'm like, I'll say
it. So, of course, we were talking about 1983's John Carpenter's Christine.
Oh, now, yeah. She'll possess you, then destroy you. She's death on wheels. She's
death on wheels.
And then we got once she lures you behind her will, you're all hers. Body by Plymouth, soul by Satan. Christine.
That one's heavy. I like that. Now, I will say, it's been a long time since I've read the book. And I really want to reread it because it was one of my absolute favorite books. But it was a pretty good adaptation. Like, they did a really good job with it. And with it being John Carpenter, and I love John Carpenter, but I can't claim to be like a genius of his work. I don't know how many movies this is to his career, but he was so known for Halloween and The Thing and all of that. I feel like Christine kind of has to take a back seat to those works. And this is, he's such a good movie.
Yeah. It is, when people mention his list of movies, Christine's usually, it's on it, but it's not always near the top. I think it's maybe his, I'm not like a huge Carpenter historian. Because I know Halloween was before this. I'm pretty sure The Thing was before this. Because The Thing came out and they had dinged him for that being so gruesome and gory that he wanted to do a movie that wasn't as gruesome and gory. Like, this movie had a rated R, but it was only because of the language. Like
Right, because there really isn't.
Yeah, they bumped up the language so it would get a rated R, so people would go see it because it was a horror movie. People thought that like a PG or PG-13 horror movie wasn't going to be good, so they bumped the language up and put that stuff in there so it would get that R rating because I don't think there's like any blood.
And there really isn't. Like they mentioned, Henry Dean Stanton's detective character mentions like Moochie, how bad he got crushed, but they don't really show anything.
No.
This was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, his 7th movie. Yeah, that's.
I think he did Escape from New York was one of them. He did maybe before this.
Yeah, Dark Star, Assault on Precinct 13, Halloween, The Fog, Escape from New York, The Thing, Christine.
Yeah.
And
that was one thing I was going to ask you is if you have read the complete book and watched the movie because I didn't know this because I'm dumb, so it's hard for me to read. Like I was telling Chesley in the car, I was like, listen, because she said we were talking about something. I was like, listen, I have poor reading comprehension. Like what you people can do is like read super fast. Like, okay, I got it. I'm like, I'll read the sentence and then go to the next one and maybe like, okay, I need to go back to read that and lose my place. And then my brain's like, give me a second. We'll get there. But
the older I get, the harder it is for me to just like the other night, I stayed up. Was it my birthday? The night before my birthday, I stayed up till 3 a.m. so I could finish Stephen King's new book. Like I just decided I'm finishing it. I'm breezing through it. Like, but I'll read for a while and then I'll get distracted and I'll have to go back and catch up on what I missed. But this one was like, this is one of my favorites. It is such a good read. And it's not one of his usual ones. Like a lot of people talk about how his newer books, Holly, Mercedes Trilogy, have a different tone to them. And I'm guilty of saying that. This one kind of flows more with that new tone that he's kind of locking into. But it's also, and you find this in the movie too, it's one of the few ones that isn't based in Maine. Like they're in California in this. And pretty much all the movies that you have from Stephen King, except for The Shining, are all based in Maine.
Yeah, this is I think the shooting location was like the same location they used for Halloween, I'm pretty sure.
I know Los Angeles for part of it and Santa Clarita for Darnell's garage.
Yeah, the old World War II wire factory.
Oh, really?
It was actually it was an old World War II wire factory, and it was such a large building that they split it into. They built a false wall and put Daryl's garage on one side, and then a car build prepping station on the other side.
And Susan in the comments said that parts of the neighborhood were the same as Halloween. I didn't know that. Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah. I wonder if they use the same trash compactor in Halloween Kills. Like the same that could make a sick sequel. Yeah. Like you have Christine coming out and just Michael Myers in the driver's seat. Like, what's up, motherfuckers? Evil did not die tonight.
I don't want to step on your toes because you read the book, but you can correct me where I go wrong whenever I do this. But there is differences in the movie and the book. Of course, Christine is, they say that in the intro she was born evil. Like when that car came off the line, you got all these eggshell, off-white, cream-colored Plymouth Furies coming off the line, but here comes Christine, cherry red. I mean, that beauty coming right off the line, and this says she was born evil. But in the book, it's just a car. The guy is so obsessed with the car, the original owner, that when he, his wife and his daughter die in it, he doesn't care. Then he dies in it, and he possesses the car. And then when Arnie buys the car, spoiler alert, he possesses Arnie as the relationship grows, and that's what happens. But in the movie, it's all Christine, or like John Carpenter talked. He blacked out all the windows whenever Christine was doing her mysterious driving by herself, so you can never tell if Arnie was behind the wheel. Like it's either that's just Christine, it's a possessed car, or if Arnie's doing this the whole time, because that's when they leave it up to you to be like, oh, you never know.
Yeah,
so he blacked out the windows.
So badass. And I brought the book down so we could touch
So
on.
that's right. Like that's the big difference between what they did.
It's been a long time, but there was that, and then there's just a couple other like scenes of Christine just going after people that are in the book,
Oh yeah,
like more stretched out, like better detailed.
like they never cover the all the side plots. Like
Right.
Darnell of Darnell's Garage is like has a side hustle, illegal cigarette selling business. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And Arnie actually gets arrested for making a delivery for Darnell and stuff like that.
And just the teenage angst in Arnie in the movie, like he just seems like such a dork, and it's such a quick transition to this cool, like I'm not wearing my glasses anymore. I'm gonna dress cooler now. I don't remember
What's
that
crazy
vision. That's a
is-
good call out. In the book, his parents die.
yeah.
His mom was a bitch in the movie.
And they don't talk about the span, but the rollout of the Plymouth Fury from the title is September 1957, but it's a 1958 Plymouth Fury.
Yep.
And in all the advertisements, they actually call it a 1957 Plymouth Fury, which it's not. It's a 1958 Plymouth Fury.
Yeah.
But that is in September, and Arnie actually buys the car in September. And the story actually stretches from, I'm pretty sure, September to January.
That seems about right, yeah. I want to say hello to Johnny Horror out there at TerraCon, tearing it up. I'm sure he's keeping very, very busy.
Yeah, hope everybody's having a good time out there and enjoying themselves. But we have director, John Carpenter, writers, Stephen King, of course, and then Bill Phillips. And our lead as Arnie, Arnold Cunningham, is Keith Gordon. His best friend, Dennis, is John Stockwell. And then, is it Leah? Is Lee. Alexandra Paul. Lee is Alexandria Paul, which they mention it. I'm sure if you've seen the movie and any kind of bonus stuff, you all know that she does have a twin sister. And that the scene where the bulldozer scene,
yep, she
actually had her sister go into makeup and get ready, and then step into the part. And they said that John Carpenter used his action. He's like, "This is not fucking right." there's no, yeah. And then she steps behind him and asked if he had already replaced her. On so, gotcha.
I'm looking. So I feel like. Not many people from this cast went on to do much else. Like the guy who played Dennis, John Stockwell, like I'm looking at him. He was a writer on one of my favorite movies. No shit here, but Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg.
Oh,
John Stockwell played Merlin in Top Gun. Alexandria Paul. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Ming. Yeah, I don't really see them come up in much else. So 2017 Armed Response with Wesley Snipes. It looks like Stockwell went into more directing than continued to act. And Keith Gordon, he was in Jaws 2.
He plays
Milo.
the guy in the stupid cat, like the dude's friend on the catamaran. If you remember that scene.
No.
Yeah. And let me tell you what else went the way. Not only was his career, but that hair. Oof.
Yeah, I was close to saying something about it, but I was like, you know what?
Well, you never know. He could be watching this and get offended.
Right. I mean, hey, buddy, come sign my license plate. This is the story of a lover's triangle, I suppose you'd say. Arnie Cunningham, Lee Cabot, and of course, Christine. But I want you to understand that Christine was there first. She was Arnie's first love. And while I wasn't presumed to say for sure, not from whatever heights of wisdom I've obtained in my 22 years anyway, I think she was his only true love. So I call what happened a tragedy. Let's see. And then, because the book's from Dennis's perspective. When they first see Christine, she was a bad joke. And what Arnie saw in her that day, I'll never know. The side of her windshield was a snarled spider web of cracks. The rear deck was bashed in, and an ugly nest of rust had grown in the paint-scrapped valley. Back bumper was askew. The trunk lid was ajar. Upholstery was bleeding out through several long tears in the seat covers, both front and back. the way that they really capture like just how fucked up that car was when they drive by, and like I don't understand. I mean, I know they had different bodies and like they had different like cars to stand in as Christine, but they did such an amazing job of like pulling off the shots of her repairing herself and just being destroyed. It's really impressive.
15% of the whole budget for the movie was cars.
I can imagine.
And they use about what I have, like, because it's wishy-washy. No one has like a solid number. It was the 80s. Everybody was on cocaine. So they're like, yeah, we used 107 cars. But there's only 7 or something like that. So there's only like two in actual known surviving existence is what the word is. It's in the hands of 2 collectors.
Man.
And but they used about 28 cars. And
Can
they
you
used
imagine
a mix of 3 cars. They used the Plymouth Fury itself, a Plymouth Belvedere, and a Plymouth Savoy. If I'm saying it right, it's Savoy. So Savoy is how I would say it, because I wouldn't say a Plymouth Savory.
I'm trying to respond to Susan. Susan, drop whatever you want in the comments. We'll do our best to grab them, but don't feel bad. Say what you want. We want you guys to be involved in this conversation.
Oh, so yeah, we want you guys talk just as much as we do. It's just if we don't see it right off, it's our fault.
Yeah,
and we might have to go back, or if we go quiet, we're trying to look at it and read it and then compound an answer.
The one thing that I realized last night when I was watching it again was I never watched the deleted scenes, and there's some good deleted scenes to it. Did you watch them? Or did you stream it?
I didn't get a chance to watch them. Because I was like, just how crazy this week's been. It's like, but I got it in. And when you talked about deleted scenes, what was cool is this is something I guess they didn't do a whole lot of in the VHS era, but there was a home video release on VHS in the 80s that had, it was the whole movie, deleted scenes and all. Just
that would have been cool. That's funny because like the deleted scenes on the Blu-ray, it's very sketchy footage that would look like a home video like that. So that'd be really cool to track down.
Yeah, it'd be neat to. I mean, I'm sure people that have a copy is not selling it for cheap, but it could be super cheap. You never know. It could be like, it's pieces of crap.
The ones like there was the deleted scene, going from Arnie's house to Darnell's for the first time, and Dennis is following them, and like the muffler falls off. Like he stops and picks it up, and then all the smoke is even worse. They get there and drop off the car. There's a scene where Lee and Dennis are like canoodling at a McDonald's or something, like making out in the car, and she looks up in the rearview mirror, and there's Arnie and Christine pulling up, and he like. Dennis gets out of the car and is just like, I'm sorry. It doesn't really apologize, like just gets pissy. And Arnie flies up alongside the car and ends up hitting the car door and ripping off the side panel and shit. I'll have to look that up, Susan. The deleted scenes were actually pretty good. It was more, you can tell they were clipped for time versus, well, I don't know how they would have fit like that McDonald's scene in there, but most of them you can tell were clipped for time.
Yeah, sometimes they just shoot scenes because it's like, okay, this is the narrative, this is what we're going with, and they go back and look at it and be like, like that doesn't
there's
make
some man like just, there's one with Arnie in the hospital with Dennis, and he's just so mean, like this mean side to him that Dennis has never seen before, and even Dennis is like terrified of him, and has him sign his cast. And Arnie's like, I already signed it once. Why do I want to sign it again? And then they can compare the signatures. And he's like, his signature's not even the same as it used to be.
It's like, sign Arnie, you shitter.
Right. Like, it's, I don't know. It's just so wild, like, how dark Keith Gordon was able to take his character from this nerdy kid in the beginning. And it sucks because, like, that really did deserve more character development than what the movie gave.
Yeah. Well, like, it was such a quick that you don't notice it, but the way they wanted to show it as Christine was possessing Arnie is that he did go from that nerdy, 80s looking guy to a 1950s greaser. The slicked back hair, the blue jeans, the t-shirt tucked into the blue jeans, the leather jacket, stuff like that. So that's what's showing you that the 50s Christine was actually, digging its claws into Arnie. Was like, he was a 50s greaser. You could tell. It's like, that's what costume they were going with.
And it's been so long since I've seen It Chapter 2. Do you remember It Chapter 2?
Like,
I'm almost okay. So you never watched it?
No, I said I've watched it,
okay.
like, I think twice, because I watched it and then I showed Chesley. So
I'm pretty sure Henry Bowers gets picked up from the asylum by Belcher in Christine.
Huh.
I know it's tied in the book, but I'm pretty sure in the new It movies they used like Christine for that scene.
Well, see, that was the good thing, is like, a lot of people are going to be looking for the Plymouth Furies if they want to be like, okay, that's what I want. That's what I recreate. I want to recreate Christine. But like I said, they use different cars because they had like almost the same body, but it's a kit that they put on it. Like the wings and the side stuff, that's all kits that could go on to the Belvedere and the Savoy and stuff like that. Would make them look.
Car.
Yeah.
And you mentioned this earlier. Like I don't think I noticed it until I watched it last night, but how it was like the pink cars on the factory line and then the red Christine car. Just like,
yeah, it's that like eggshell white of like, it's like, and they shot that on, oh my God, I forget what film. It was it was Fuji. It was like an old Fuji film. They shot that on. So it would have that 1950s look, and that was the only part of the movie that was shot on that film, so it would have that look.
That's crazy.
Of like, what they used to record on whenever they were bringing cars off the line in Detroit and stuff. But do you remember how much he paid for the car?
He was originally quoted $300, and then he was told $250, and when he comes back out, he's like $300, and Dennis is like, "You said $250."
All right, well, $250. In 1978, you can tell
Chuck
you what
is just
inflation has
Chuck
done.
is just like, Josh, just get to the fucking answer. We don't need all the details. Get to the answer. Sorry, go ahead.
See, my brain doesn't work like you can do it. I know Big John can do it, but like you remember quotes like pretty dead on. I'm more of it's general. That's what it sounded like. At least up here.
Sometimes I Google a lot of quotes. Yeah. If I'm sending someone to get signed, I Googled that shit.
Yeah,
because I don't trust myself. But you had I like where you were going with what you were saying about the inflation. I would love to hear that. Okay,
I did the math. Because I think the last person that did the inflation stuff was like 3 years ago. Dead Meat James from Dead Meat, James A. Janice. If you ever watched that, he did Christine, but it was like 3 years ago or something. But he did it, and I think he was like, "Oh, it's almost like 1,000," and so I did it to see where our inflation costs are in 2023. But $250 in 1978 is now equal to $1,177.25 in 2023.
That's insane.
That is a 370.9% increase.
That's wild. I never think about stuff like that, but like that's insane.
There's two things. I don't want to make this political about just inflation, taxes, and the government's the devil. But cars and homes are the only thing that has rose over the like 200s and 300% of a inflation stuff. Like cars raise even when there isn't a economical crisis or anything like that. Cars has just went up. It's like 1 year you're like, oh man, I got this truck for $28,000, and then like 5 years later it's a $48,000 truck. You're like, come on, man.
The housing market is what blows my mind.
Oh yeah, trust me.
Yeah.
We're trying to find a place, and it's miserable. Because they're like, oh yeah, like 3 years ago, that house was like $80,000, and now it's $250,000. You're like, you know what? Fuck all you people,
dude. So let's see here. See what I got in my notes here.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite line? Because my favorite line is everyone's favorite line, where he backs up and says, "Okay, show me." Because everybody knows the whole what they did to pull that off with the hydraulics pulling the car in, and they just shot in reverse.
So amazing. I think my favorite line is probably Moochie. When Moochie gets dropped off by the semi, and he walks over, and he's like, "Cunningham, you aren't mad, are you?" Like, he's so like stupid. Like, he's such a dumb character, and his last name is Welch, Moochie Welch, and he's just like, "You're not mad, are you?" And then he gets run down.
That's one of the first ones that Christine takes out for Arnie, I do believe, isn't it?
Yep, it is. Yeah,
I didn't pull my license plate out, but I meant to pull my license plate and my John Carpenter autograph out.
I have my license plate's hiding up here.
Do you have the 4?
No, I only have.
I think it's Alexandra. Paul is on it. Arnie is on it. Moochie, and then the other bully is on it.
And Susan, I will say, if you're still here, there is an amazing piece. It's similar to what Chuck's talking about. I'm trying to find it now. On Fearsome Figures site. And it is.
As a matter of fact, hold on 1 second. I'll get
is it?
While you're talking.
I can't remember. I'm going to keep talking. I can't remember. I had to have gotten mine from them. I think it was one of the first things I ordered from Fearsome Figures was my license plate, but it's only signed by Keith Gordon, and it has "Show Me" on it. But the poster, oh man, did they sell it? Oh, I'm so sad. It just had so many signatures on it, and it was such. Man, where is it? If I would search, this would be so much easier, but I'm being impatient. Okay, here they are. $200. Signed by 5 cast members. There's a $175 one signed by 4. But it's got Lee, Arnie, Buddy Repperton, Rich, and Moochie.
Yeah, I got mine's 4. Mine is
Was that one of their boxes?
now this was a pre-order.
Okay.
You could either, because they were doing a signing with 3 of them, and
She's real sensitive. That's a good quote too.
they were doing a signing with 3 of them, and you could buy the piece that had Keith Gordon already on it, and add the others to it, and that's what I did. Keith Gordon's on there and says, "Okay, show me," right in the middle. And then we have Moochie, we have Lee, and then at the bottom we have Buddy. Man. But did you see the CQB on there? You know what that stands for?
I don't think so.
Yeah, close quarters combat.
Really?
Yeah. That's what it stands for. Because I heard it, I'm like, that's not true. That sounds stupid. So I went through, 2 or 3 places being like, is this true? Is it a lie? Is it just something somebody said? And it's like, yeah, it's true. But yeah, that's what it means.
Every once in a while, like working from home, I get dangerously close to buying things all the time. Like I'm always like, what's new on CSR's website? And I go over to Fearsome Figures website very frequently, and I see this 11x17, 5 cast members, and boy, oh boy, do I get tempted.
Oh, yeah.
Such a nice piece.
I really don't ever see them doing conventions that much. That's the thing, is like I don't ever see them like getting around.
There's
your lighting doesn't do it justice, but go to his channel. You're probably already on it if you're watching us, and watch the video where he just does that. It's an awesome piece.
I don't understand what marker they used on this, but like that green pops, and that was through Dark Parlor Originals. I've done a couple of sign-ins with them, and they've been amazing. Mintage was involved in that signing too, but Dark Parlor dropped their ad for it first, and then Mintage did. I love both those companies equally, so it doesn't matter who I ordered from. I would recommend either of them all day, every day.
Like there's 4 big companies that I really enjoy. We collect in the in our collector sphere, and that's Mintage, Dark Parlor, CSR, and Fearsome Figures. But I'm adding, now that he's doing horror stuff, is Rare Tracks.
Yeah. I was wondering. That was in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
I was like, is he gonna say Rare Tracks?
He's gonna be like, no, fuck you. No, now that he's adding more horror stuff, like I remember he hit me up on my Facebook, because I think I sent you a screenshot of it. I was like, oh, this is cool. He's like, well, won't you check out my stuff? I'm like, I'm not into music like you are. Like, I listen to music, and I got a few records, but nothing into being like, I need this autograph, or I need this. There's very few people that I would actually want to meet that is musician and be able to get their autograph from. Like, I met Corey Taylor, which was very cool. Spencer from Ice Nine Kills, and I'd like to meet Alice Cooper for sure.
Alice Cooper would be cool to meet.
Well, Ozzy's going to be just up in Pennsylvania from us in October.
I want to meet Kelly.
But did you see the big fuss about that? Like with, I know we're off topic. We'll get right back on, but you can't just get a picture with Ozzy.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
You have to when you get a professional photo op. That's the only way you can get a picture with him. Is you have to get a picture with the family.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah, and people were like, "Yeah, if you care so much, just make sure you're standing close to him and just have him edit him out."
Yeah, like that wouldn't bother me in the slightest. Jack Osborne is one of the coolest people in the world. Kelly Osbourne was like my first crush. Like Sharon is the shit.
You want truth time?
No,
I don't think I've. Oh no, I used to do weird stuff to a cantaloupe. I thought about her. No.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't think I've ever shared this with anybody. But so this is a first. This is an exclusive. The first time I saw, this was kind of my introduction to her, and I was young. Her Papa Don't Preach video.
Yeah.
That she did, and like the making of and stuff that she did for MTV. That was like, I'm like, oh man, she's like, I like that. Like, I don't know what it was. I was like, I do weird stuff to her.
Yeah, dude. Oh, she was amazing.
Yeah.
So, getting back to the movie, I want to know, what kind of kid were you in high school?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, the thing is, I think I've told Chesley this multiple times. I don't know. When I was in junior high, like I'm a heavy guy. So you'd think he'd get picked on because he's fat, but there wasn't what you would see in city and what is portrayed in movies as someone getting bullied or like bullies in school. We didn't really have that where I was. I live in a rural area, so there just wasn't like that. We had the Snuffers. They were cousins, and they were like your pinnacle, very attractive people. Vincent was I don't know. We're such a small channel. Me using their names doesn't matter. They'll never see this. But he was, star football, whatever sports. Dad worked for the school board, like head of the school board, stuff like that. Very nice home. But he wasn't mean, like, to people. And his cousin Samantha was like what you would imagine a Norwegian, like white blonde hair goddess would look like. They were both very tall and stuff like that. They were, but they weren't mean people. So there wasn't really a lot of bullying. Yeah, you kind of made fun of people sometimes, but you weren't like shoving them down the hallway and like, get out of my way, you stinky old prick, and stuff like that. I mean, so in high school, I was just, I guess, a weirdo. I mean, I listened to, I wore jeans and, just t-shirts every day. Everybody in my school carried pocket knives because we were just in the country, so it's like, it just wasn't a big deal, I guess.
No, I get that.
I don't know how to explain myself. I listened to System of a Down, those type of bands. And when you hung out with the people that you enjoyed and listened to that music. But in junior high, I played football. We went undefeated and stuff. And then I got, I started having side pains and back pains. So I got.
You were Dennis.
Yeah.
We're getting to it. You were Dennis.
Yeah. I got sent to the hospital and it turned out I had kyphosis. And they said we can put a back, brace on you and try to straighten you up and see how your spine goes back to normal. It wouldn't, so they had to wait until like I reached my peak grow area, so it was like 15, and then I had reconstructive back surgery.
Jesus.
Yeah, they broke all my vertebrae and went back in and put I have a scar from the top of my neck all the way to the top of my ass crack.
You went really quick from Dennis to George LeBay.
Yeah,
like that corset he has to wear.
Yeah,
you went from football
I
star
got
Dennis
all shades of Christine
to George LeBay.
Oh, but I mean, that was it. But never got picked on or anything like that. We had fun with the back brace because it was like a hard shell, so I could take a full punch to the chest and stomach and stuff and sides, and I can't feel it.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was like a hard plastic shell, so it was fun.
I feel like the thing that I always liked most about Christine was how relatable Arnie was. Like, I was that nerd. I was that chess club kid. I was that band geek. Like, seeing him transition to this badass just because he got this car was just the coolest thing to me. So that was one of the things that was always so appealing to me about this movie was like Arnie's a relatable character. He just wants to get the girl. Like, his friends are cooler than him. His friends are gonna help him get laid. Like, he just wants to like be cool for a little bit. And I always thought that was so relatable. And you were Dennis. You could have been the one helping me achieve. And Johnny asked a really good question here.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Any part from Christine that stuck out this time that you maybe didn't notice from a previous watch? I know I mentioned a couple little things. I didn't really notice the color of the car in the first watch. And now I'm trying to think. I know there was a couple things that like.
Well, I got one.
Let's hear it.
Okay, that the possession, like whenever you knew, like, oh, Christine's gonna do something, that the radio lit up and it had that green glow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, King used that green glow in another popular movie that had vehicles that wanted to kill people, right?
This machine just called me an asshole.
I still want to meet. You got a box cutter from him, but I'd love to get that.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah. I wonder how many people bring something up to him of like him getting killed by the arcade machine and stuff.
I had the topper to that arcade machine, like the game. I had it on eBay. I was gonna order it and have him sign it, but it didn't happen.
That'd be really cool.
I didn't notice. I feel like in the past, I didn't notice how quickly Arnie shifted, and it was all right there. But like last night when I was watching, I was like, oh man, he quit wearing his glasses already. Like, man, his style has really changed. Like, I didn't really notice how quickly in the past that happened. And I also feel like last night was the first time that I really noticed how the build up and then the climax and end, like the climax and end is like, all right, we're done. Like they spend so much time building up, which is great because they do a great job with it. But I guess I kind of forgot how quickly it comes to an end.
Yeah, and I was about to do that. Did Emily enjoy it?
She has not been feeling well this week, so she was unable to watch it with me, unfortunately.
That's
this is one of her favorite.
Chesley
movies.
Didn't watch it.
Really? She does love this movie. Like, this is one that she was very excited for us to get to watch, so I'll have to watch it again soon.
One thing I did notice, not just about this movie, but like Stephen King in general, and like tons of his movies, I haven't read his books because, illiterate. dude uses switchblades
Yeah.
all the time. Like, I don't know if he had like a terrifying thing that happened with him with switchblades, but to really put in, hey, that's a bad guy, got switchblade.
And blue chamois shirts is another thing that he sticks with. It's funny, like most of his adaptations, he shows up as a character. He like as an actor.
Yeah, I didn't.
And he
see
doesn't
this.
pop up in this one.
Yeah.
Sorry, leaving a comment. Chad
It was
doesn't
like
read
Chad-
books.
But he's only read what, the Stand By Me and none, like all non-horror. It looks like.
He's just going by the movies that he saw.
Oh, okay.
He said Green Mile, which they're all great movies. He's not wrong.
You know, I'll tell you, I have never seen Stand By Me.
Dude. I've
never seen Shawshank Redemption.
Those are both. Shawshank's kind of long, but it's good. What got me was like it's the connections in the King universe. Like that's what makes reading Stephen King so rad. Is like the books weave together. Like I mentioned, Christine showing up in It. I'm pretty sure Christine shows up in It, the book as well. But where was I going with this?
Well, Susan, like I said, no.
The brother's name Roland, the guy who dies in the car and his family and everything. The first owner of Christine was Roland. Roland is like,
name.
Yeah, the guy in the Stephen King universe. So it's just insane
because it all ties into his like whole Dark Tower series. That like everything is like everything is part of something, and like my buddy Austin.
All things serve the beam, bro.
Yeah. He read all the books. Like they're big readers. Like I have a group of friends that I've been friends with since high school. Austin, my cousin Travis, and then Zach. They all read and like listen to audiobooks all the time and stuff like that. I'm still trying to struggle through the audiobook of It because it's 48 fucking hours.
Yeah.
Because they were like, I was like, which one should I read first? And they're like, yeah, do It. They're like, yeah, do it. I'm like, y'all should have suggested a fucking smaller book. Because I went from Joe Hill's Heart-Shaped Box, which is 16 hours or something or 13 or 16, something like that, to you would have to listen to this for like 3 days.
That's
straight
the thing
to
with,
be able
like,
to finish it.
I can't do audiobooks because I just can't pay attention.
Yeah.
But and with Stephen King like Christine's supposed to be getting a remake. I haven't heard much about it in a while, but it's supposed to be getting.
I don't know how I'd feel about it. Just like with this new Pet Cemetery series.
Yes, Susan, I completely agree. Buddy's character has that John Travolta vibe. Like, that's interesting.
Well,
like,
he jumps on the hood just like fucking.
It's very
Grease.
Grease-like.
Yeah.
And that was one thing I picked up on last night was like he reminds me of like John Travolta stunt double.
And how Arnie just dies.
Yeah.
Like that's it's very
anticlimactic.
Anticlimactic. It's like out the window in the gut. He's like, you're like, okay, we done? And then the car's like, I'm dead too. And it's like, no, I'm not.
I know a guy had a car like this once, killed himself in it. Arnie, what is it about that car? Maybe for the first time in my life, I found something that's uglier than me. Arnie.
But big props. I can't remember his name. It makes me mad. Maybe you can twiddle on the keyboards while I'm talking. It's the stuntman, the stunt driver. But in the big scene where Christine follows the three bullies to the gas station, crashes into his car, and then into the gas station, killing him, and then gets lit on fire. So that stuntman drove that car while it was on fire, and the windows were still blacked out.
Terry Leonard.
Yeah, a lot of people he underplays like in interviews and stuff. He's like, "Oh, it was tough to see, but it wasn't like." I'm like, dude, you drove a fucking flaming car for a very long time. With no oxygen. He had to wear a oxygen rig on the inside because as soon as you light a car, if people don't know this, oxygen feeds fire, and fire is fed off oxygen, and it will suck all the oxygen out of anything to feed itself. So in a small area like that car, all the oxygen was gone. So dude's like basically got an oxygen tank between his legs, zero visibility out of a car window, trying to drive it while it's on fire. So
That's insane.
it's very impressive. Yeah.
Let's see. I was trying to find. So Chuck had mentioned earlier CQB stands for Close Quarters Battle. I can't find anything on 241, but I know those numbers have to mean something. Film went to production before the book was published. Kevin Bacon was offered the lead role, but ended up choosing Footloose instead.
Yep.
The lead of Arnie or Dennis?
Arnie.
I could see
he was
him
still in
being
that
Dennis.
Well, he was still in that like weird, skinny, wiry, and because they were looking for somebody, because you got to remember they're gonna cool him up, so he has to look cool, so they can nerd Kevin Bacon up, and then take it off.
Yeah.
So I could see him kind of working, but I think it worked with who we had, you know.
If you have a copy of the first issue hardcover with the dust jacket, you'll find a picture of Stephen King sitting on the hood of a 1957. Oh shit!
Do you have it?
Yeah.
Whoa.
If you have a copy of the first issue hardcover with the dust jacket, you will find a picture of Stephen King sitting on the hood of a 57 Plymouth, not a 58, as the movie states. One of the Christine cars actually became possessed and caused destruction, all on its own. This one car in particular was a manual transmission. The guys on the set forgot, and when they went to start her up, she was in gear and lunged forward, taking out some equipment.
One of the cars that they use, I can't remember if it's the Fury or the Belvedere. The transmission was a push button transmission. So on the dash, there are buttons, reverse, drive, neutral. You pop in. So Keith Gordon said he had a tough time with that because it was like a weird. But in some of the scenes, when you see him inside the car, you can actually see. You never see him push them, but you can see the buttons on the dash. And like I think the Fury didn't have it or something like that. So
there's some other cool things in here, like Christine's voiceover was actually a Ford. All of the engine sounds were dubbed and from records taken from 1970s Mustang.
Yeah, they used some airplane lights and like supercharged batteries whenever Christine was possessed to make it look like to give it a certain look while it was doing its thing. Do you want to know? Do you have a count on how many people died in Christine?
I can give you a mental. Let me think. 4, 5, 6.
That 7. We see die, not just mention.
See die.
That we see die. Yeah.
5.
We got 7.
Oh, I'm 6 counting Arnie. I can't think of who the 7th one is. Who do we got?
We got you got the first dude at the beginning.
Oh, yep.
Because after the dude gets his hand smashed, that guy decides he's going to take his break inside Christine.
Yep.
Because he's easy to forget. You're like, oh, he just died. Like, how did he die? Who knows?
Right.
Yeah. And then you got your bullies.
Moochie, Trelawney, Buddy, Steve.
You have Arnie.
Darnell.
There you go.
And then you have not shown Roland, his wife and daughter.
Yeah.
This one goes back to your point earlier. The movie technically didn't have enough violence back to justify an R rating. So they purposely used the word fuck along with some other derivatives in order to get that rating.
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of organizations and stuff like that deem this movie one of the filthiest, movies that's out there. The language is inappropriate and stuff like that. And since we are reaching our 50-minute mark, so we have about 10 more minutes, I can do the Rotten Tomato rating.
Yes, please. I want to hear that.
All right, the Rotten Tomato rating for Christine, 1983. Because if you look it up, there's 2 different Christines on there. We have the tomato meter, which is your, professional critics, like your critic stuff and all that. It's a 71%.
What's not bad?
But the audience is 64.
Really?
Like, who's watching this? Who is watching this? It's not fans, I'll tell you that. I mean, not like horror fans. Christine's a good movie. Like it can be. It feels like it's quick. Like it's buttoned up quick. You're like, okay, I'm done. I'm out. 64 is very low. I would expect at least above a 71. Like maybe below 82. Like maybe an 80 or 79, but a 64 is a little ridiculous.
Yeah, that's wild. I wouldn't have expected that. And as Chuck said, we're wrapping up on time. We did okay, staying on topic. Usually at the end of these, we get way off topic, and that is not going to be any different tonight. First thing I'm going to throw up here is a surprise. I didn't tell Chuck I was going to do this, but we're going to have to address the elephant in the room. So about October.
No, read it too.
October is going to be very difficult for Chuck and I. Chuck, what do you have going on in October?
Okay, not only in October, but it was starting this week. I have my 9 to 5, which is actually 10 to like 7 something job. I work at night, so I work third shift at night. And then I come home and I sleep for about an hour and a half, and then I get up and drive to Spirit Halloween. We are finally getting to open our Spirit Halloween in my area. It has been extremely delayed, but this week I have been working there. It's been exhausting. So not only do I do that, those 2 jobs, Friday and Saturday and every other Sunday, I will be working at Fright Nights, the haunted house in the Shady area here in West Virginia. I'm sure if you're a fan of the channel, you've heard me talk about Fright Nights, and I've even got a few walkthroughs and stuff. We have an amazing new attraction, Shipwreck, and I'm telling you, John and the team, Chesley and all them have really outdone themselves. They built a fucking pirate ship inside the haunt.
That's insane.
And it's just, I mean, they did amazing work. Like today we did our actor training, and we actually got to walk through, and it's basically finished. And I told John, I'm like, listen, no offense, but your other stuff's shit. I said, this right here is like a work of art. He's like, I don't want to take offense to it. He's like, but every year I want to build. I want to like get better and like make it bigger and bigger. I said, well, this looks like it's like professionally done. Like you had more than 4 people working on it for a few months, because that's all they have. There's only 4 of them working on this thing. So, but they built like a whole ship. You go through the ship, you come out. I mean, it's, if you're in the West Virginia area in October, it is definitely something to come and check out. Fright Nights, West Virginia, or Fright Night, West Virginia. It's a good time. And then, that's all. So, what do you got going on, Josh?
I have the honor.
Nothing important, right?
I have the honor, the privilege. I am marrying my best friend. Emily and I are getting married in September, so we will be off the grid for about a week. Her and I and the girls were, my stepdaughters, were going to be going to out of state to tie the knot, and I'm so excited for it to happen. Yeah, I could talk about it for hours, but I won't bore you. I get to marry someone that means the absolute world to me, and I'm stoked.
Are you gonna stream the wedding?
Hell no. This is so private. Like, it's gonna be really difficult to get a hold of me the week I'm gone. I say that, and Emily, if you are watching this, I promise you, I do plan on keeping my phone out of reach for the majority.
Does she ever say anything about you talking to me?
No.
Like when me and you's going back and forth, because Chesley's always like, what's your boyfriend saying? I'm like, hold on.
She probably thinks it. I can totally imagine she thinks it. And I'm guilty of being on my phone way too much as it is. Yeah. So
But that's amazing. And she's an amazing girl. I mean, you're lucky because, what you've told me and, and she's told you and she's pushed you to do that. Like, she wants you to be happy. And like, we all know we spend too much. We do. We spend
Susan
excess.
Sorry. Yes. And Emily is the most
and she supports
supportive
you through
person
the whole time.
I've ever been through that. Susan, I don't love using stepdaughters. Like, they're my daughters. Like, that's how I see them. That is how I view them. I have, like, when I use it, it's because I feel like I don't know how to put it. I use it because that's like the technical term or whatever, but to me, in my eyes, that word doesn't exist in it. Those are my daughters. So
just in case you meet somebody in public and they're like, she don't look nothing like you, man. Did you get a test?
And so so that's the big thing. And to your point of her being supportive, that leads into our next thing. At the end of October, Chuck and I will be at Chiller.
It's official.
It is official, yeah, in Parsippany, New Jersey, for Chiller Theater weekend,
which is going to be cool. We will be working with some celebrities, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be the first time me and Josh get to meet each other, and we get to stay in the same hotel room. I think so.
I think that's what's going to happen.
You get uncomfortable.
We're going to realize how loud we both snore. We're gonna hope that I don't get heartburn the entire weekend. But it's gonna be great. And if you are going to be at Chiller, my shit's over here. Hold on one second.
And thank you, Chad. Yeah, listen, I got a problem with autographs.
Okay,
it's a huge issue.
If you are going to be at Chiller, we're gonna be with SigsCom. And we'll be either with Kevin Bell or Ball. Yeah, Kevin Ball, Matthew Cordier, Alan Robinson, or SD. I'd buy that for $1 Nemeth. Whatever table I'm at, I don't know which one's going to be, but I will have these sitting there, and I encourage you to snag one. They're just pins, but I got these nice little backer cards that I did for him. So
he had a great idea. They look amazing. I'll have cards and pins and stickers, but mine aren't cool as his and have a QR code.
Dude, I'll show you. I'll give you the link. This is just a business card that I butchered to make it what I needed. Thank you, Chad. I really appreciate that. It's gonna be a busy month, and I love everyone who watches these, but I'm so excited for what I have on my agenda for next month.
Yeah. So what we're trying to say is there will be
that was the entire point of this.
And mayhem in October. We're sorry.
Yes,
we're swamped.
We will be back in November. I assume we'll be back in November, and
unless me and Josh meet each other, and we end up fucking hating each other.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Like, I could snore too loud and wake him up, or he could snore me. I was like, listen, I'll smother this motherfucker with a pillow.
Or the rooms next to us could come kill us in our sleep because we both snore too loud.
Oh, yeah. So Uncle Ed, what's important is food. Do you have any place that's like local to you that we don't have around here, like in West Virginia or Ohio, that like you have that we should try while we're there?
Yeah, that's Uncle Ed's going to have to like treat us like tourists.
Because we are.
Yeah. So there you have it, folks. Yes, Johnny, I'm stoked you're going to be there. It's wild how many people are about to meet. Like, Chuck and I are meeting each other for the first time. Uncle Ed, Johnny Horror, Josh Mayu, formerly known as Graph Guides Josh, Schwabe from CSR, he's going to be there from SigsCom Marketing. I'm going to see Rob again from SigsCom.
Rob,
so it's going to be insane.
Oh, yeah.
Uncle Ed's getting fancy.
The steakhouse is in the hotel. Wow.
Ruth Chris, though.
I think Uncle Ed would just have to treat us. That's one thing that John said, because I was like, oh, well, we're going. They're like, he's like, are they going to feed you? I'm like, I doubt they'll feed me. They'll probably look at me and be like, no, sir. No, we're not feeding this big fella. But strangely enough, I don't eat. Like, I eat once a day and I'm done. I can't eat a bunch during the day. I just don't feel good.
I'm just hoping that it's like we're so busy that, and because we have that, like SD Nemeth has never done a convention. I assumed he had.
John's giving me $1 to take with me, so he'll sign it.
Yeah, like that dude. He's gonna be so. That's gonna be the thing. It's gonna be amazing. They're bringing like this like TV thing to get a picture taken with him. Matthew Cordier, he's only done one. Oh, and I feel like a jerk. Lynn McCree, who played.
Yeah, I doubt we'll be with Lynn and SD though.
I think we'll be in the same space. And I know there are some private signings going on for send-in opportunities. We'll probably be helping out with that as well. So these are the people that we're going to be helping out. We're going to be getting water for them and all that. We're going to be working their table. We're going to be working our asses off all weekend long. And I cannot wait.
Yeah. And listen, I know we're celebrities, so don't be afraid to be like, oh, Matthew, excuse me, I need a picture with Josh.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. He'll understand.
Matthew's a good dude. I'm stoked to see him again. I'm really excited.
This is a huge opportunity for me, and then us. Hopefully, this expands and we kind of
do it
again.
We
keep doing this, man. Yeah. Never mind. We'll end it, and I'll ask you later.
Okay. So there you have it. Again,
we deeply
will be back in November.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If you have any suggestions for themes. Because I know people throw out movies, and we've been doing themes here lately of like themes like we did Stephen King for his birthday and yours. We did, horror comedy. We did stuff like that. So if you have a theme you want to throw out there that we can I can dig through some classics through and see what we can pull out. Yeah. Chad said, "How's Cujo feeling?"
He's hanging in there. Today was kind of a rough day. I think he threw his back out this morning, so he's been kind of limping around. So that's after this. I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna turn on. I'm gonna turn on Chucky season 2 and.
Are you starting that?
With him. Yeah, I'm like 5 or 6 episodes in. I'm not enjoying it this season.
You only got like 2-3 more episodes. I think there's only 8 episodes.
Good. It's so dry this season, man. I don't know what the deal. Like, I really liked the first one, but like.
I'm glad they haven't focused on the kids as much as they usually do. Like, you do have to deal with them, but you get to see like Glenn and Glenda's path.
So, Johnny, that I have 2 shirts of mine, and I want to get one of Chuck's. And then,
I only got 1 shirt of mine.
We'll be repping the channels.
And I don't want to smell, so I don't know what day I'll wear. I don't even know. You never know. They may not let us. We might get to table. They're like, you can't rep your own. Get out.
The advice I got was rep yourself. Like, while you're there, bring the pins, put them on the table, rep yourself. I hate wearing my shirt. I have the hat too. I feel so corny being like, hey, but we'll see. And maybe beforehand, I don't know if we'll have time. So this is not a promise by any stretch. I don't know if we'll have time, but we'll have to circle up the wagons and see if we. Ooh, that's probably not something I should say. I take that back. I'm so sorry. We'll have to like
racial insensitivity. Yeah,
that was terrible. I actually do feel bad about saying that. We'll have to like see if we can get like even Johnny, Uncle Ed, you and me together, and we'll talk chiller and just talk about like what to expect and things like that. See what we can make happen with that.
Yeah, Sunday would work.
Yeah, we might be able to pull something together for that. We'll look into it.
All right. Well,
that is all.
We appreciate everybody, and we will see you all in November, like I said. Later.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.